This video is a follow-up video to Intermolecular Forces Explained. This is intermolecular force implications, right? Why should we care about intermolecular forces? Well, they really have profound effects on two main aspects of substances that I'm going to be talking about today: the melting point and solubility. Melting point is pretty straightforward. Melting point is going to increase as the strength of IMFs increases. So, if I have a substance that is non-polar and can only experience London dispersion forces, it is very likely to have a lower boiling point than something that can hydrogen bond, because hydrogen bonds are much stronger. So typically, something that experiences London dispersion forces is going to have a lower melting point than something that does London dispersion forces and dipole-dipole, and that still is going to be probably a lower boiling point than something that is capable of all three types of intermolecular forces. Now, solubility is a little bit different here. If you have taken biology, you've probably heard the phrase like dissolves like. So substances are going to be more or less soluble in substances that are more or less like themselves. So for solubility will increase as the IMFs shared between the substances overlap. So what I mean by this is something that can do London dispersion forces only is going to dissolve best in something else that can only do London dispersion. So to show you what I mean here is if I have two things that can both only do London dispersion, they both completely overlap. They both do exactly the same things. But if I have something that does London dispersion, and I want to try to dissolve it in something that can do all of the IMFs, well then, it really only overlaps in one way, and it doesn't overlap in two. So you're not going to see very much solubility here. On the other end of the spectrum, if I have something that can do all three of these IMFs, it is polar, it has either OH, NH, or FH bonds, then it's going to dissolve best in something else like it. Something else that has all three. So, to put it simply, like dissolves like. The more similar substances are, the more able they are to dissolve in each other. The more different they are from each other, the less able they are to dissolve in each other.